Who is your daddy? I am your father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
Episode 74 is here of Fathers of the Grind. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have some special guests with us this week that I want to introduce, and then I want to have a follow-up question of something we were just chatting about before we started recording. So before we get to that, I want to welcome our guests from NGR, from Nerds Gone Rogue, and that is Corey, Hudson, Dirrig, and Matthew Kiel. Corey, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite. Really excited.
Yeah, glad you're here, man. And Matthew.
Oh,
gentlemen,
gosh,
so happy to be here.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
My non-alcoholic
guys.
tea.
Matt's just excited he was invited somewhere.
You have a beer cup. You could have convinced us.
Yeah.
No,
you could have been like,
beer.
I'm drinking whiskey, bro. Get good.
No, non-alcoholic tea.
Okay, I did this long enough. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done.
Tea, yeah. The glasses are amazing.
I left my sunglasses in the car. It's just because it was actually dark when I got home.
We were talking about some retail establishments overseas that specialize in pirated goods. That's a good professional way to say it, right?
I mean there are plenty. Yeah, there are plenty. Yeah. But I think the question that I was just relaying a little anecdote that when I was in Eastern Europe, in a country I will not name, there aren't stores like Best Buy or Circuit City doesn't exist anymore, but there's no real Target type situation. All the stores are broken out, sort of specially pharmacies, or you only get pharmacy stuff. Grocery stores, you only get groceries, and there are no real places you can go to buy video games. At least I didn't see any, and wandering around several metropolitan areas, they're just not there. I was just interesting by that, and then you ask around, and they're like, "Well, how come I can't just go someplace and see what the music's like?" Well, we don't buy music.
Yeah.
Do you? And I'm like, well, yeah, yeah. And here I am wondering, and all of a sudden I'm wondering what I'm doing with my life.
And the reason that caught my interest is because, and I don't mind saying the country, I lived as a kid for 3 years in Budapest, Hungary. Now this was early 90s.
Okay.
So any of you who know anything about fairly recent history, that's right after the Berlin Wall fell, and that's when Eastern Europe started to finally play catch up with the rest of the world. They were still, and they still are to this day, many of them, considered third world countries and struggling. Hungary in particular has improved quite a bit in the last 30 years. But while we were there, it was still a very poor country, exactly what you described. There was not a store to go to just to buy music. You were lucky to find a store that actually had a selection of bread to choose from, just depending on what the local, farms and stuff had. So it was a very unique experience. And I remember the reason this came to my memory was because we used to have to take a drive. It was like driving from maybe Columbus, Ohio to Indianapolis, Indiana. So it was like driving across a Midwestern couple of states, maybe a 4-hour drive. We would drive to Vienna, Austria, which was in great shape at that point in time, and had pretty much all the Western stores you could want. You could get your Happy Meals from McDonald's. You could go to Toys R Us and update your Game Boy games. And so that's where we would go 3 or 4 times a year to do all of our American-style shopping. But I remember, just a quick story here, across the street from our house, there was one of those really shady properties in the corner of a street. And it had a fence, but most of it was kind of knocked down. Anyone could come and go as they please. And I don't know how we discovered this. It's disturbing to think back now that as kids we were okay with this. But if you go around the back of this house and down these concrete stairs into this very poorly lit basement, this person had a little 2-room shop set up. They even had the full glass counters where you could look in and see all the toys, and the walls were plastered with toys. And they would always get these random shipments, we thought, I'll put it in air quotes, shipments of stuff.
I know a man down the street. He brings it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The person, the old lady didn't speak any English.
Of course she did.
We just pointed to the thing that we wanted, and then we kind of got used to what the prices were at a certain point, and that's how we loaded up on all of our Matchbox cars and our G.I. Joes. She had legit G.I. Joe figures and all sorts of other stuff, stuffed animals, whatever else. And we didn't think anything of it. As kids, we're like, oh, this is the toy store over here.
Yeah.
And as we looked back on it, we realized we totally were shopping for 3 years straight out of this bootleg, pirated toy store basement. So pretty terrifying.
But see, you look back at it, and you're like, man, I feel cool that I did that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
totally.
I mean,
You do.
I would not like. It's not like
I do.
It's not like a thrill I would go looking for because.
No, I think it's great because it wasn't until years later that my brother and I just had this illumination moment where we're like,
we
that
were
was
committing a
probably
crime.
stolen. Those were stolen goods, but boy, were they fun.
No,
So
they
anyway,
weren't stolen. They just fell off a truck. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, or a
gravity
ship somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't introduce myself or Derek. I'm Tim, of course. If you're new to the show, Derek, glad you're here too, my friend.
Hi, boss.
Hey, yeah, boss here.
Yeah, boss himself. All right. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick? Tell us a little bit about your podcast, and you can take turns. You can decide who wants to go first. Tell us just a little bit about yourselves. Tell us about your podcast, and then I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite video game franchise? So be thinking about that answer. But tell us a little bit about yourselves. What is it that you do, and tell us about your podcast.
Corey, you're going to be better than I am at this one. Go
Oh,
ahead.
jeez. Okay, so I intro and outro the show, and Matt talks the rest of the time.
Business up front, party at the mat.
God, I hate you.
Wow.
And that's what you're going to get if you listen to our show.
Yeah.
A
Matt,
lot
are
of
you
cheese.
sure you're not a dad? Are you not a dad? Because that was a dad joke.
All I could think of when I thought, I'm like, well, Corey could do this better than I can. So I was thinking, oh, the business up front. And I'm like, how could I make this a mullet joke? And I just did.
And you did. Yeah.
All right.
That's not the last time you're using that.
Nope, not anymore. It was born right here. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I did it again. Corey, continue.
Yeah, okay, so I am one of the co-hosts of NGR Radio. Matt and I do the show every Monday. It comes out every Monday. We try to record a couple days in advance just for, quote, editing purposes. But
Safety.
yeah. But, it's more of instead of like news and stuff, we just kind of generally talk about games, movies, music, beer, whatever. Whatever we go off on tangents. Like, everybody brings a topic as a safety net or a starting point, and then it usually just turns into a conversation for about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours.
Yeah, nice.
So
If we're gonna do a 5-hour show, I'll just take a nap right here.
yeah, our very first show, we tried to go over everything from E3, and that was like Matt's nap time, about 2 hours in, and he woke up at the end of the show.
Derek, you remember when we did our first show, we tried to cover like an entire year worth of games or something like that?
Yeah, we started in 2016, like the first week of 2016. So we did like a recap of 2015, and I think the show was like 2 hours long, maybe even longer than that. And we got some negative feedback from people that started listening from day one.
It was tiring. Like for the first couple months there, I remember we were tired after most episodes, and so we've tried to trim it back to like that hour and 15-minute sweet spot. I think we've kind of landed in recently. But
yeah, we've kind of just have this natural stopping point at about an hour and a half now, because we've kind of got in our rhythm, and our show, we kind of pride ourselves on having guests on our show, and you guys have been on our show. Tim's been on twice. I missed the first time you guys were on, but
you got there at the end.
You got there at the end, right when we hit religion. We were really hitting our
side. Yeah. I walked in. I came in. You guys were talking about religion and Incubus.
Yep.
And those were like the big talking points of when I was there. I was like, huh.
Pretty standard stuff,
And Corey's like, I thought this was a video game show. Not when you let me take the wheel. I go to some places.
He'll take the wheel.
But
isn't that like Carrie Underwood?
Oh, jeez.
Take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
Oh, no.
There you go. There's your religion and music right there.
Oh, God.
But basically, me and Matt have a topical show, and we invite guests on from other podcasts just to hang out and, just talk about games and a bunch of other stuff for an hour and a half, and play a game of 20 questions to end the show. And
awesome.
That's
nice.
Kind of
we
us.
make sure one of us hates the other at the end. That's how
Yeah.
that's how you keep a podcast relationship.
Yep, Matt hates me right now.
We will we'll remind people of this at the end too, but just real quick, how can people find your show if they want to find you?
You can find NGR Radio on all major podcast services, on our YouTube page. Just search NGR Radio Podcast, and then you can join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/NGR Radio Podcast, and on our website at ngrradio.com.
Nice. Very cool. Or they can just search for topics like religion and music. They'll find you.
Yeah, they'll find something.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. We're literally at the top of both of those lists.
Yep.
Guys, Incubus is so good, guys.
Hey.
No, they're not. Guys, they're really good. Shut up,
Be
Tim.
quiet.
I just
quiet
love
right
how
now.
Derek and I really think they're just the best and everything. Then Derek and I just burst out laughing.
Let's not go down this road again. That hurt my heart. Let's not go down this road again. All right.
Well, hey, I said it the last time you were on our show, Tim. That conversation did force me to do some revisiting with Incubus, and I realized while I still don't like them any more than I did, they are good musicians.
Derek's still
They
laughing,
are.
but I appreciate you saying
They
that.
are good musicians. I'll give them that.
Derek, if he could right now, he would totally be screen sharing a picture of Scott Stapp singing right into the camera.
Oh, yeah. Take me higher, baby.
All right, cool. And so, Matt, tell us just a bit about yourself. What is it that you do? And I know Corey already covered the show. So
Corey he starts us off very professionally every week, and then I start talking and ruin it. So that's the only thing I know how. I break off every topic in tangents just because that's the way my mind works. But I try and keep to the conversation as best as I can. I'm just a failure at it. But
and just like Derek and I, you guys both have full-time jobs, and you're trying to balance this wonderful hobby of gaming in addition to other hobbies, and family stuff as well, and friend stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I like having guys like you on and listening to your show as well, is because it's listening to other people who play very similar way that I do, and that's why Derek and I think enjoy talking so much, is because it's almost this challenge. How do I still enjoy this hobby that I really like and keep up with all the insane things going on in life? So, and I know you guys both experienced that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I think that's.
Although Corey, I'm pretty sure, and I think you talked about this on your show, but I'm pretty sure you found all the Korok seeds in Zelda.
Yeah, I did. That was a chore and a half.
Wow, that is. I'm sorry for your family.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for their sake.
Yeah, well, good thing it was on.
His brand new wife, Sana, was just like, "What are you trying to find?"
Yeah, she was like, "Are you still playing that game?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, if I tried to explain it to you, you probably would just like slap me or leave me or something." And she's like, "Well, try to explain it. Try to explain it to me."
I just need 900 more seeds and I get the golden dookie.
Yeah, she's like, just try to explain it to me. I'm like, all right, so there's these little creatures in this game called Koroks. They're like leaf people, and you have to find all these seeds, and there's 900 of them. And then at the end, you get a golden piece of poop. And she just looked at me like, yeah, this is why I don't like video games. I was like, yeah, okay.
And then you're like, really? That's the reason? Not some of the things you will hear 10-year-olds say on Call
Not
of
the
Duty?
obscenities I scream when I'm raiding in Destiny or something.
Oh,
this is the reason.
Oh man, your marriage is up for its first real test this year, my friend, because
I know.
Destiny 2's coming out.
Oh man,
I'm
excited for that.
I
I'm
can see
scared.
him just getting his veins ready. He's just like,
Yeah, I think that's one that Derek and I will be talking about more as we get later into the summer and closer to September 8th, I think it is. I think both of us are pretty hyped for Destiny 2.
Xbox or
I'm with you.
PlayStation?
PS4.
Oh,
okay.
All three.
All three.
All three. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
I know
I would have
gonna laugh at you.
I would have no problem getting it for all three platforms if I could just take my character across all the platforms and just use it on the different platforms.
Yeah.
Like my character could be saved in like a Bungie cloud server type situation, and I can just, I'm going to play on PC in ultra high settings, and then I could play it there. Or if I'm going over to my friend's house that has PS4, I could take my character to PS4. But
that would be great.
Well, let me clarify.
MMOs,
Let me clarify. Tim's already pre-ordered it for the PS4, and since him and I game share, I don't need to buy it for the PS4, even though that's where I mainly played Destiny 1. I did play a lot. I still played, I think, over 100 hours on the Xbox, I then, because I had planned to buy the Scorpio, already bought a digital copy on the Xbox One. And now, and I won't talk about it too much because Tim's going to get mad at me, I just bought a PC this week that's very, very high-end, and it's pretty much ruined my plans for the Scorpio because it's way better than the Scorpio. So now I'm like, well, I would rather have that game on the PC. So I'm going to have to buy it on the PC.
I am a little jealous of that PC you got, but I want you to be able to share about it in a minute. We're going to talk about what we're playing, so we'll have you go first on that one, actually. But before we shift into that, I want to hear real quick again from Matt and Corey. If you had to answer right now, and of course this may change next time we chat, but if you had to answer right now, what's your favorite video game franchise? Even if it's one game, but what's your favorite video game franchise? Matt, we'll go to you first, because I think I know what your answer is.
Mega Man. All day, every
I did
day.
not know what your answer was.
Mega Man. Yeah, that was the first real. I don't want to be like elitist to say like that was my first real test of skill as playing video games, but yeah, the 1 through 6 Mega Man.
Did you start with the first one back on the old NES?
Yep, that was the Mega Man 2 was a birthday gift. Mega Man 1 was a gift. I got 1 after 2.
Okay.
My birthday.
So your lore is all mixed up, you know. The lore.
Well, I
is all
Tarantino'd it for myself.
Okay.
I got 2 as a Christmas or as a birthday gift, and then my birthday's in November. And for Christmas, I got 1 because my parents saw how much I love that one. And then 3 was the first game I ever bought with my own money, and yeah, I devour those games.
Okay, so as someone who personally I prefer the Mega Man X games to the original Mega Man games, is that like heresy to you to hear that?
No,
or
no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe if you had asked me like 10 years ago, I would have been like, man, what the hell? But I also have as I've gotten older, I'm closer to 40 than I'd like to be. But as I've gotten older, I've sort of realized, you can only sort of have a viewpoint from where you entered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know I've been on Nerd Overdrive and I've talked to Ray Osorio as well as our show several times, and he said, well, people, high schoolers now, their first games were on, PS3 or PS2, and they're going to say their favorite game of all time is Call of Duty. I'm like, that's not their fault.
Yeah.
If they're dicks about it, yeah, that's their fault. But if that's that's all they've experienced,
Yeah. No,
look at you,
Agreed.
look at you in Incubus. It's not my fault you haven't experienced anything better, Tim. I'm sorry.
I didn't say they were the best ever. You know what? Let's move on. I never said they were the best ever.
I know.
All
I'm
right,
just messing with you. All
right,
nothing but love, Tim. Nothing but love.
I just want to add that I would really want Matt to be on the show like every week. Every week, Matt can come back.
Just to keep talking about Incubus.
Just to keep taking jabs right at Timmy Boy and his little Incubus.
Call me. I have the drive. Just call me.
Oh boy.
All right.
Corey, what about your favorite video game franchise?
Well, I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild pretty much solidified it this year, Zelda. Like, I don't know, that game in particular kind of changed the way I kind of feel about that franchise.
Yeah.
I really love Zelda, but after replaying Twilight Princess for the Wii U to get my Wolf Link amiibo leveled up, I was like, man, this franchise feels ancient, and just its mechanics and the way you have to move through the world and the dungeons, doing them in a specific order in a specific way. And I was just like, man, this is just getting tired. I've been doing this since A Link to the Past for all intents and purposes, like it's just so repetitive. And then Ocarina of Time, obviously still an amazing game, but just took the Link to the Past formula and put it in 3D. And Breath of the Wild really just changed everything. It just was like, man, the openness and the way I can just move through this world without having to do something else before this or move through the shrines how I want, move through the divine beasts how I want. It was a refreshing experience, and it's going to be interesting to see how people kind of take their open world formula and adapt the Breath of the Wild sort of open formula to it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily copy paste it, whatever, but the next.
I don't think anybody can nail it.
Yeah, like the next, I think the next realistic test in terms of development is going to be Red Dead, right? That open world and what can you do and how open is it?
That's why they delayed it, is so they could change it into Zelda. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to develop a system where you can climb with cowboy boots. They had to figure that out.
That'd be great.
It's not going to go well.
The new plot for Red Dead 2 is just a little topless boy who wakes up and goes out and explores
and
the
finds
countryside.
plant people.
That sounds so disturbing. A little topless boy
Yeah,
and wakes
oddly,
up.
we're getting way
Low
closer to
topless
Far
boy.
Cry Primal than.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, cool. That's a good pick. I think Zelda is one of those franchises that I would answer with when that question is asked most of the time. There are other times when you might get me to say an RPG series here or there, even a Final Fantasy or maybe Suikoden or some of those, but I think Zelda is the one that most consistently takes it for me. And especially now with Breath of the Wild, just like with you, Corey, I totally agree. It recaptured my love for that franchise. I've done a ton of stuff in Breath of the Wild, by the way. I've kind of paused playing for a little while. I've got a trip coming up. I plan on finishing it during that trip. But I've done all the shrines, not all the shrines. I've done all the divine beasts. I've done, I think, 70 of the shrines, maybe 100 Korok seeds. I don't plan on tracking all those down. So I'm kind of ready to go do the final castle. I've just been delaying it because I don't want that game to end. So
Yeah, that's how I was too. I was like, I can go fight Ganon, but I don't want to. I want to delay the ending as much as possible.
Yeah, it's so good. That to me is the very definition of a system seller. That's a reason to own either a Wii U or a Switch, although I recommend the Switch. So
Yeah.
Cool. And Derek, one of these times you and I will actually have to talk about that. What is our favorite franchise and see where we land on that, because that might have changed over the years. But we'll skip us for now. We'll come back to that another time. All right, Derek, let's go to you, man. Let's talk about what you're playing, and go ahead and tell us a little bit about your new toy that you just spent a ton of money on instead of feeding your kids this month.
Eli,
Getting
better
it
not
off
be
the
starving,
floor.
man. I swear.
Eli needs to be starved. That boy's becoming a beast.
It'd be great if we saw Eli come in the background and start digging in the garbage for something to eat. 'Cause he's hungry.
He has like a little black, headband around his eyes, like a raccoon. Oh, it'd be good. Hi, Eli.
He'll probably walk in later. He's out with mommy right now. But right now what I'm playing is, I'll start with the games. I played last week. I started Persona 5. I shouldn't say started. I had already started it, but I actually dug into it and finished the first palace. Really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something that I would play for 100 hours though. I don't know. It's just way too much talking. Way too much talking. I'm like, my God, seriously, shut the freak up, dude. I just want to go into a palace and kill these people, and you're talking too much. But overall,
I did not think that would be your speed at all, Derek.
No, it's just way too much talking. But overall, I do like the combat. I like the art style. I do like the world. I like most of the characters. Normally I get annoyed with annoying characters, but nobody's really bothering me. I kind of like them. But I don't know how realistically how far I'll get. But I am pursuing the second palace right now, so I am still playing it. The other game that I've been playing is I jumped into Prey last night. Our listeners probably know the story, but I pre-ordered this game blindly because I was like, I love BioShock and I love Dishonored. This is perfect. And then I played the demo after I'd already pre-ordered it digitally. And by the way, for those who don't know, if you pre-order digital with Sony, they're not going to give you a refund if they've already given you one refund in a lifetime. So I was stuck with this game. Anyways, I played the demo. That. Yeah, they're jerks. And I played the demo and I was like, this is okay. It's not bad, but I was like, I'm not in the mood for this. So I just ignored the game for 4 weeks. Well, I decided to jump in. I'm like, let's just give it a shot. And I ended up playing for 4 hours yesterday, and then I played another 4 hours today. I'm completely hooked. I freaking love it. The one con that I have for that game would be the enemies are a little boring to shoot against. They just basically they're kind of like shadows that just flicker, and it's just kind of annoying. It's not fun battles to me. As you upgrade, they become a little bit more fun because you have more powers to use against them instead of just shooting a shotgun or a pistol or something like that. But overall, I think the gameplay aspect of it, the gunplay, is probably the weakest part. The coolest part is the mystery of the story, the world that you're exploring. There's so much to this place. There's a lot of secrets, a lot of things to explore. It's kind of actually overwhelming. It's one of those games that's not that big, but when you play it, you feel like it's huge because you're trying to get into everything and the game's blocking you. You know, you need a code or you need to figure out a way to get around this door or whatever the situation may be. So it feels bigger than it really is. But overall,
is there any Metroidvania aspect to it? Like, do you have to get a skill to get past certain areas at all?
It's more like you'll run into a door that's locked. And in this game, what's cool about it is very open. Is even if the door's locked, 99% of the time you can find another way into the room. You just have to figure it out. Or you can explore the world and then find that key card or password or whatever you need to get into that door. So if that happens, like for instance, I found this one office that was locked and I didn't know how to get into it. And there might not be a second way to get into this one. But later on in the game, about 4 hours later, I found the key card in a totally different area, like way far away. So now I have to go back. But they make it kind of almost like a Dark Souls. There's a part in the game where you unlock an area that gives you the ability to go back to every area real easily. So,
gotcha.
Overall, really cool. But the highlight of this week for me personally is definitely I decided, like I said earlier in the show, to get a PC. I did not want to get like an average PC. I wanted to go all out. So I ended up getting a very, very powerful PC. And so far,
go big or go home.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it didn't actually cost me that much money, like actual cash, because I had ended up trading in enough credit at GameStop to get $1,000. So I just had to pay the rest of it, which was about $700. But I basically, I've just been downloading a bunch of different games I already owned on Steam and like testing them. And so it's been pretty cool seeing all these games running 4K, and a lot of them are running 40 to 60 frames per second. And I'm just like blown away. I'm looking at the games like this. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So it's been really cool. I think what this is going to do for me, like we talked about Destiny 2 earlier, I think I'm exclusively going to go third-party PC from now on. Obviously, any first-party games on Microsoft, I am definitely going to buy them digital so I can play them on both the Xbox and the PC. And as far as PS4, I'll keep that around just for the exclusives. But everything third-party that's coming to PC, I'm definitely going to buy it there because it's way above my consoles. So
yeah, gotcha. That's cool, man. I mean, I would love the ability to go in and look through my Steam library again. I've talked about this before. I've got all these Steam games sitting there that I can't use because I have no PC. So part of me is jealous. The other part of me is just thinking, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Derek always talks about being part of the master race, so why not get a PC?
Boss, master race.
Oh boy! All right, cool. Well, let's go to you.
It's really cool too, though. I just want to say this, like, also the pricing of PC games. Like, you can go to like cdkeys.com. Like, one of the reasons why I jumped in Prey, I was like, oh, I really want to play on my new PC. Maybe I'll buy Prey on the PC. And the reason why is it's only $28, brand new. So, you know, I bought Dragon Age Inquisitions for $9. Everything's real cheap. You can get brand new games for anywhere from $10 to $30 off on day one. So I
got you. Cool. Well, good, man. That's sad that you're leaving the world of normal people with consoles, but that's cool. That's cool. As long as you enjoy it, as long as you're happy.
Yeah, it's all about me.
Let's go to you, Corey. Now that you finished Zelda a few weeks back, what have you been playing since then? What's been your main game or couple of games?
I've been jumping between games. A lot of Switch games like Mario Kart, and I've been playing a lot of Disgaea 5 recently. It's kind of like if you guys don't know what it is, it's like a turn-based, kind of like Fire Emblem style game, but the armies you build are much grander and like the skill set each party member have is way more unique than anything you would find in Fire Emblem. It came out on PS4 2 years ago, but this has all the DLC and all the new characters from the expansions and stuff. So right off the bat, when I started, I had probably 15 or 16 party members to choose from instead of I think on PS3 you had 5 to choose from at the beginning.
Nice.
So I'm playing that. Me and my wife have been playing Mario Kart. It's a good standby couch co-op game. It's so good. Gosh, it's so good. I think Mario Kart 8 is definitely the best Mario Kart.
I totally agree. It definitely is. Let me ask you this: when you play against her in Mario Kart 8, is it competitive? Do you always win? Is she really good? How does that work? For you guys?
She's not much of a gamer. So usually when we do that, we do 100 cc. It's fast enough for her to do well, but easy enough for her to, stay ahead. But the good feature is that like it has that auto steering mechanic and it keeps her on the road.
Yeah.
Which she really likes that. So, it's really a cool experience to see her do better than she used to on Wii U.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But we've also been playing Puyo Puyo Tetris together. Obsessed with Tetris. It's good. But other than that,
the Switch is bringing you guys together.
It is. But when I've been gaming by myself, I've been getting that Destiny itch again, and I've been playing a little bit here and there.
Okay.
So.
Now, when you finish something like Zelda, with the scope of it, with how fun it is, with how high quality it is, do you feel kind of the same way you feel when you end a long run of a TV show and it's over? Like, do you kind of have that void where you're like, now what?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Yeah, I almost started a new game because I missed playing it so much. And I'm like, I really want to go back and play it, but I don't know if I wish
other games.
This is like what makes me mad is like this is the first Zelda that doesn't have at least 3 spots for you to save a game. It only has the one. So if you want to start a new game, your old game is toast. Even if you start a new game and you save once and you go back to your autosaves, all those autosaves from your old game disappear. So, like...
Well, you could always create a new profile on your Switch.
Yeah, I was...
Like, call it Corey Jr.
I was thinking about doing that, but I'm really glad this game is getting major DLC this holiday because I really want to see what Nintendo can do with, a big, huge adventure-style DLC because their Mario Kart DLC was great. Their Smash Brothers DLC was decent, but a little on the expensive side. So it's going to be interesting to see like this major story expansion.
Okay, cool. Nice. What about you, Matt? Have you been gaming recently, and if so, what have you been playing?
I've been doing very little. Actually, I've done no console gaming for... What day is it? I don't even know.
Just looking at a calendar.
I've actually been doing more. I've actually been playing on my Vita, and I spent one night at the hospital. I work at a hospital. I wasn't injured or anything, but I was playing my Vita. I'm like, man, I should really get a Switch just so I could play Breath of the Wild because I'd been playing exclusively on Wii U, and that game is something really special in a way that I'm not even sure I'm approaching it from the tack that like I don't want it to end, but I just enjoy wandering around and getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you walk up to a line and you're like, oh, it's going down now, bro. Then he beats me a couple of times and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for that fight.
Yep.
So I go and I go beat up on some little, choo-choos or some keys or some bokoblins and feel like a boss. And I'm like, all right, I'm going back to that line.
And then you just gotta go cook some food, man, and power yourself up a bit.
Oh, and cooking. Let me tell you, cooking is the best freaking thing.
It's so fun.
That game. It is so awesome. Just because, if anything, for that music, for that little rhythm they give you, that sounds like
as the stuff bounces.
Film.
know, it's funny. My 4-year-old daughter loves it when I make dubious food by accident, and then she like laughs herself to death trying to say, "Daddy, eat the dubious food." She thinks it's the funniest thing ever. But yeah, they love that stuff.
It'd be funny if you had like awesome. A 1-year-old that could say that couldn't say dubious, and it sounds like they're saying "eat the poopy food" or something
yeah,
like that.
That's exactly what it would sound like. Yeah, it kind of does.
But no, I think there's a lot that video games as a whole can take from Zelda. Now we could talk about horsepower and things like that, but in my opinion, those things really don't matter. However, I've been playing Vita, and I've sort of reignited the itch I have for the game Spelunky.
Ooh, little roguelike action.
And when that game frustrates me too much, I play another roguelike called Crypt of the Necrodancer. Now, picture a game like Spelunky that is a roguelike, but everything is done to music. Like, you have to move with the music. You have to attack on rhythm, otherwise your attacks don't land.
So it's a rhythm game, but it's also an action
it's a rhythm game, and I believe Patrick Klepek from Giant Bomb actually found a way to get that so you could play it on like a Dance Dance Revolution pad.
Holy cow!
Which is redonkulous in its own right. But that game is super fun. The soundtrack is really cool, and I don't think any of the combat is super difficult, other than the fact that you sort of have to not be white and have rhythm, because my rhythm is terrible.
Yeah.
Other than that, last night I worked a 16-hour shift at the hospital, and I did some XCOM on the Vita. That game is still fun. I played that on PS3.
I forgot they put that on Vita. I forgot about that. Man, that'd be a great game to have on the go.
It's a damn good time on Vita, because you get to the point where like I hadn't played it for a very long time, and I'm like, oh great, so I should probably start this over. But I just jumped into the stage that I had, and I had named all my troops after people I knew, and that just sort of creates an additional tension, because you don't want the people you know to die.
You sent me out as like bait, didn't you?
No, you're still alive.
I did the same thing, man. When I had it on PC, back when my PC used to work, I would name my friends in that game, you know, and it felt bad. I felt really bad when they would die, because they're gone. They're gone. They're gone for good.
I named, like, when I first started, I named people after Moose Kluel, Matt Phillips, Gideon,
nice.
And all those people are dead. They're dead. They died horribly.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. You just gave me an idea. That is now added to my wish list for the Switch. I'd love a XCOM and XCOM 2 ports over on that Switch system. That'd be amazing. And you know that system could handle at least.
I mean, it could handle
mid-level
one.
version of that.
I think XCOM 1 and XCOM Enemy Within, the full game expansion they did for that, could work on the Switch.
That'd be great if they did, even if they did like, hey, we're gonna put out a XCOM Master Edition or whatever you want to call it, and put it on the Switch.
I'm not sure about 2. I think 2 actually is significantly more robust.
Yeah, that game chugs on Xbox One, so.
Like it,
does it?
From what I've heard, it runs shadily at best on console.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I haven't picked it up.
Nah, it's still wishful thinking. I'd still have the first one on there at least. Because you just mentioning playing that on the Vita made me go, ooh, should I go buy that? My Vita hasn't been used since the Switch came out. Even before that, maybe for a little while. Mm-hmm. That'd be a good reason to dust that thing off, just to play XCOM on the go.
But then, just before the end of my shift last night, I started up Binding of Isaac again, and that game's real good as well. I really like roguelikes. Roguelikes are so fun.
Yeah.
Nobody else understands, but I think I like the idea of starting from nothing and seeing what you can grab on your way to the end. Now, granted, most roguelikes I've not beaten, but
Well, that's because they feel impossible unless that becomes your main game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put a ton of time into Rogue Legacy, and I'm pretty sure I didn't get anywhere close to the end of that game.
Yeah.
And I know that's not even the toughest roguelike that's out there, but to me it was very tough. I thought Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy, the one thing that's my opinion, the failure of Rogue Legacy is the flighty controls. Like that.
Totally.
The jump in Rogue Legacy is bad.
I agree with that. Although certain characters, if they inherit certain traits, their jump feels a little better. But yeah, overall, just the very basic controls without any kind of additional traits that they have. You're right. It's too floaty. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Cool. Well, what I really like is that out of the four of us, we all have a very wide variety of games that we're playing. So for me, I've still been playing Thumper on the Switch.
How is that?
So if you guys...
Yeah, what do you think? I want to know your thoughts on this, Tim.
Yeah, I love Thumper. And I'm glad Derek had to step away for a second. He heard something at his house. It's probably better because he hates when I talk about Thumper. But I never played it on any other system. I'm pretty sure it was on PC and PS4 and VR, I think. That's where it was before, I think. Anyway, so I grabbed it on the Switch, and I didn't even feel like it was a rhythm game at first until I started to pick up on, this is a really percussion-heavy style rhythm game. It's not recognizable songs. Let me describe it to you real quick if you guys haven't played it. It's basically you are this scarab beetle-looking creature, kind of this alien-looking creature. You're on a roller coaster-style track going through what looks like space. And there's all these cool, trippy designs all around you. And then throughout the game, you'll come into these different obstacles. And it teaches you in a completely non-verbal way. There's no written text at all. It does not, other than your score at the end, it doesn't tell you anything. And it just kind of gives you a really quick indication of what button to hit on certain turns or certain signals on the ground or certain bars in front of you or hoops that are up ahead above you. And it gives you instructions, and each world introduces a new gameplay mechanic. And so, but then as the game goes, of course, they start stacking those different things. You have to hit corners really fast, but also hit a glowing orb that's on the ground and then jump up over these spikes. And then you're going to have to hit a series of turns again. But then it all becomes so fast. I think as the game has gone on, I'm in World 7 right now. As the game has gone on, the rhythm, the music game side of it is really coming out. At the beginning, they give you so few obstacles to get through because they want you to learn the game. It didn't feel like a rhythm game. Now it feels like it's really fast-paced, like palm sweat generating rhythm game. It's really, really fun. It runs super smooth on the Switch, both on TV mode and in handheld mode. The sound is incredible. I think the visuals are fantastic. It's got a very smooth frame rate. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's 60 frames per second, but I'm not sure about that. It runs really smoothly. So I highly recommend it if you like rhythm games. It's a very unique little thing. I can see why people were giving it attention for Game of the Year last year, at least in terms of style or music or visuals. It was very, very unique. So I like it a lot. And so I'm on World 7 of 9. I've got a couple other guys in our Facebook group like Rory and Rudy and Colin. We're kind of going back and forth on trying to one up each other on our scores. There's leaderboards and stuff like that. So it's great. I like it a lot.
Nice. Cool. I've been really thinking about picking it up.
Derek likes it too.
Yeah. Can't wait to get it.
It's good. Just watch it. Go on YouTube and watch a video of it. That's what sold me when I saw a trailer for it and saw how it looks and how it moves. I was intrigued, and so I took a dive, and I really, really like it. Matt, I think you in particular would like it if you haven't played it yet.
Yeah, a lot of writers that I really like have written nothing but I don't want to say good because they've also had their criticisms of it, but they've written enough interesting about it that I would definitely try it, and I think it's kind of up my alley anyway.
I think it is too. I think you'll dig it. It does get very difficult very quickly. But you've played roguelikes and you like the Souls games,
That's
so
true.
that won't scare you away.
Guilty.
The other game that I've been playing is a much larger scale game, and that's Nier Automata from Platinum Games and Square. And I finished the first playthrough of it as the android known as 2B. And this isn't really spoilers, but if you don't want to hear anything about how this game is laid out, skip ahead a minute or so. I'm on my second playthrough now where they give you control of another android character named 9S, and then I've heard there's a third playthrough as another android character who they introduced in the game, who I won't say. But it's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. Platinum Games know how to make a fast-paced, fun action game and a fun combat system, but it is very repetitive. It doesn't take too long to get to the point where you get into the groove of each battle and you know exactly what's going to happen, and it's almost the same thing every time. So I feel like it is a little repetitive. It has a very Japanese anime-style story and storytelling tropes. It's very confusing at times. Very emotional at times, too, when you actually get what's going on. But even by the end of the first run-through, I was like, so who was I against again? Like, it was a little confusing. So I didn't love the story, but it is intriguing. And I'm right now about halfway through my second playthrough with a different character. Some of the gameplay elements are a little different. So with your first character you play through, it's very much your fast attack and then your strong attack. You can combo those together. You've got a little drone that floats behind you, and you can use your right shoulder button to auto fire, and then he gets some special moves to both sense the environment as well as shoot a powerful laser that has to recharge. And of course there's counters. Platinum Games is really great at creating a great counter and dodge system, and if you time it right, you can get a super attack and aerial attacks and stuff like that. So the combat system's pretty fun. And then when you get to the second run through with the new character, instead of strong attacks, now you hack into enemies, because all the enemies are robotic. And so now you can hack. You go into a little mini game, and you try to hack the machines and blow them up that way. So very, very interesting game. It's definitely good enough for me to keep playing. I just don't know that it's not necessarily Game of the Year material, but if you like Japanese anime, if you like that very Japanese style of storytelling and character development, you would probably enjoy this. And if you just like Platinum Games, if you like really well-crafted, smooth action games, then maybe try it too. It's got some RPG light elements. You can upgrade your weapons, and you use items to heal and things like that, but very RPG light, in my opinion. So
on your second playthrough, did you say to be or not to be?
I'm coming.
I did not. But I should have. Yeah.
To be.
So no, it's pretty
or
good.
not
I will
to
say
be.
that one of the
That is
villains
the
in there,
question.
one of the villains is a shameless Sephiroth ripoff in terms of his character design. I was like, really? They're doing that? Like, they didn't even try to. Okay. But otherwise, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying Nier.
I've also heard with that game specifically, the more, like, I've heard that first two playthroughs are completely different, and then actually the third, if you're willing to go that far with it, actually starts tying a lot of the story together.
That's what some of the guys in our group have told me too. So I asked a few who have played it, and they said yes, keep playing it through, because at first I'll be honest, the first couple hours of my second playthrough felt like the exact same thing, because those two characters were already together in my first playthrough. So I'm seeing and hearing everything I'd already heard, and I was like, is this seriously just another like I'm just controlling a new character in all the same scenes? Well, now the cutscenes have started to get a little bit different, and they've added new little cutscenes where I'm getting a little more insight into how, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but how these machines have developed the way that they have. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll say. And there's more insights that they're sharing, and I can only imagine on a third playthrough, maybe even by the end of this one, some things that I feel like I missed. I told you the story didn't totally gel. I wonder if it'll fill in the blanks for me a bit. And maybe I'll look back and say, hey, it didn't get me the first time, but when you piece everything together, maybe it's a solid story. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So there you go. That's what we're playing this week. Derek's got some people home.
Well, I might have to get up because Eli is throwing stuff at him. Eli, stop. I'm recording, dude. And you're like throwing stuff at your sister.
He's hungry because you spent all your grocery money on your computer.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Start gaming more.
Get good. How old are your kids, Derek?
She's 13 and a half.
Okay.
And then Eli is he's going to be 9 in like exactly 2 weeks from today. And then Ian is going to be 11 in like a month.
Okay. All right. I knew.
Yeah, 11.
I knew you had 3, but I didn't remember their ages. I knew they weren't.
Yep,
yeah,
13, 11, and 9.
So you got 2 kind of in that middle school range. I guess one's almost in the high school range, and then you've got one who's just rounding out elementary. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's
well,
exciting.
we are going to shift into instead of doing the NGR style where we each bring a topic, I'm just bringing one topic, and that's E3. So E3 is going to be here very shortly, and so we're going to take turns making predictions, and then we're going to come back and revisit these. And even if whether or not Corey or Matt you're able to actually join us, we'll still give you credit and or mock you for your predictions.
Good.
On
Great.
the show. So we'll just take turns. We'll just go alphabetically. So we'll let Corey go first, and then Derek, and then Matt and myself. We'll make one at a time, and then we'll each. You could pick three. I wrote down a lot more than three because I had a feeling someone else might have said a couple.
Yeah, I
mine,
wrote down 8 just in case
Yeah.
there was any duplicates. So
There you go. Good call. All right, so Corey, why don't you kick us off with your first E3 prediction for 2017? And by the way, guys, let's try to avoid ones that are already like super rumored.
Sure.
You know, like, I mean, you can if you want, but we're gonna call you out for picking an easy one. So there you go.
I mean, to be in my defense, I'm gonna say I've paid like no attention. So if I say something that's rumored, it's purely incidental.
Fair enough.
And,
That's good.
And I will retract and.
Let's go, Corey.
Go see Diddy.
all right. Well, I guess I'll go first. So basically, I did predictions on each of the major companies that are doing a press conference or some sort of like active like EA Play or whatever. So my first prediction is for Xbox, and obviously they're going to show off the Scorpio, but they need something to show it off with, and I don't think Sea of Thieves. I mean, I think maybe Crackdown could be the title to show it off, but I think they need a really big heavy hitter. So my far out prediction is that Microsoft brings a Halo 5 expansion starring Master Chief for $30 or $40. They did say Halo 6 isn't going to be there. They said there's no Halo 3 anniversary, but they did say Halo will be there in some form. And that's going to be my prediction, is a $30 or $40 maybe ODST style expansion for Halo 5 following Master Chief and Blue Team. And then it will release with an invite to the Halo 6 beta.
You know that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be shown off on Scorpio, 4K, 60 frames a second. Awesome multiplayer gameplay.
And especially if that's Master Chief centric, that would make a lot of people who didn't love Halo 5 very happy.
Yeah.
If it was a Master Chief centric story and that kind of thing, that people would like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
So.
Very good. Cool. Derek, what about you? What's your first prediction for E3? And sorry, by the way, if there's background noise, we got kids coming up for snacks. So.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I'm going to go with Sony is going to announce Bloodborne 2, and they're going to tell you it's a spring 2018, but I'm going to say it's March 2018. I'm going to list the month for you. It's coming March 2018.
Okay, so Sony announces Bloodborne 2 for March 2018.
Yep.
Now, this doesn't have to be part of your prediction here. I'm just curious. What do you think is going to be the new thing with Bloodborne 2? Or do you think it's going to be a lot of the same? Or do you think there's going to be something totally different? Do you think the setting will look and feel a lot different? Just give me a general feel for what do you think is going to be different if you had to guess.
I think the aesthetics is going to be the same. I honestly don't know. I'll tell you, the only thing that I could think of, and it's only because this game did it, that they could really do. There's only two things that they could do to me that would make Bloodborne better, because to me it's already pretty much perfect, is they could make the RPG elements a little bit deeper. They're really kind of shallow, but I think that's kind of the point. I don't think they do want to be that deep. But the other thing is I was, after playing the Surge for like 5 hours, one of the cool things that they did with the Surge is they actually let you lock on to an enemy's body part. So I think it'd be pretty cool if they did the same thing and had some way of tying that in with Bloodborne, like why you would need that body part or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool.
All right, nice. Cool. Well, Matt, what about you? What's your first prediction for E3?
Well, this is my first open gauntlet toss. I was going to say there's going to be no Bloodborne.
All right. I like the direct conflict of predictions here. This is good.
Mainly because like I have a chat with Moose and Matt Phillips, and all they're saying is Moose is like, Bloodborne 2 is definitely coming. I'm like, no, it's not. Because here's the thing. From Software just finished Dark Souls 3. They've just been talking about doing a new IP. Now, I know Bloodborne is owned by Sony, But I don't think Sony is naive enough to just say, we're going to hand it to just these people. Hand the IP to somebody new in the midst of all this sort of decent praise that the Souls series have gotten. Sure, both DLCs for Dark Souls 3 have not been, they've not set the world on fire. They've not even set the Souls community on fire. But I also think it's way too early for them to hand.
But you don't think there was another team secretly working on Bloodborne this entire time? So yeah, I think there has been.
Well, because Miyazaki, after Bloodborne, he was promoted to president of From Software, and he has been upfront saying From Software is working on a new IP.
Okay.
Now whether or not that IP is super far removed from Souls is a different thing.
Sure.
But I really think that there will be no Bloodborne or Dark Souls at E3.
Well,
Okay.
I hope you're wrong, not because I want to be right, but I just hope you're wrong because I want to play the game.
And I mean, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, if Bloodborne 2 were to come out, I'd be like, okay, I guess this is my life now, because one thing I've always said on every outlet that would give me a chance, if a developer like Blizzard got a hold of making a Souls-like game, they would find a way to do it endless, and that would be the only game I played till I died.
Nice.
Because those games are amazing.
Nice.
They are.
All right, cool. My video froze up, by the way. You guys can still hear me?
Yep. You're good.
All right,
You're
cool. If I do cut out, though, then just hang on, and I'll rejoin. But everything's frozen up for a second. But as long as you can still hear me, we'll keep going. So for my first prediction, I'm going to follow suit with Corey and give an Xbox prediction. I predict that during Microsoft's show, and it probably will be towards the end because people are waiting for this, they will announce that either that night or one of the nights of E3, Cuphead will be available for download. I think they're going to release Cuphead.
Damn you, Tim! You
during
took
E3.
mine.
Yeah, I think they've been quiet on it, but I think they realize. I think Microsoft, I would hope at this point, realizes how important it is for them to really win the hearts and minds of gamers again. Something like that, an anticipated release being available right there on the spot, would really help to work in conjunction with whatever they're going to announce. I know Microsoft is going to announce stuff, and like here's what's coming with Scorpio. They also need to have some stuff in hand ready to say, go check this out right now. So, and I think Cuphead's a great game for them to do that with. That's already been in development for a while. We've been waiting for it. It's been pushed back. I think this is the time. So that's my prediction.
Do you think they would be bold enough to make it a Games with Gold game for July?
I don't. I think it's going to be, I think it might be discounted for, gold subscribers, but I don't think it'll be
Yeah, it can't be free because they got to make some money off that thing. That's taken way too long in development. Way too long.
Yeah. So that's my first one. Cuphead's going to get an available for download tonight announcement during their presser. Sorry, Matt, if I stole yours. All right, Corey.
Prediction
All right.
2.
Well, my second prediction I actually changed after listening to the Game Informer show yesterday and a couple other podcasts I listened to. So this is my Nintendo prediction that at the end of the 2017 showcase, Nintendo will show a 30-second sizzle reel of games in development for 2018. And it will show either gameplay or concept art or just logos of the Fire Emblem game that's coming in the spring, Mario Maker, Smash Brothers, and then they'll end with a Metroid logo, Holiday 2018.
Okay. Glad I didn't make a Metroid
All right, so sizzle reel for
prediction.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
so
I would not have said Metroid at all until a lot of websites are saying it might be 50-50 now on Nintendo showing off Metroid at some point.
you said Smash Brothers, Metroid, and Mario Maker, right? Those are the three big ones?
Yeah.
Because Nintendo, I feel like, is doing a really big job of like spacing their big games out, and like those are like the four big ones that we haven't seen yet. So.
I'll tell you what, even just from a very like business, even marketing type mindset, if they were able to deliver something like, you said Fire Emblem too, right? If they were able to tell their fans in 2018 we will have one of the most popular Wii U games in Mario Maker and in Smash Brothers, two of the most popular games from that system coming over to the Switch. Just like Mario Kart 8, I think it would be a very popular release on the Switch. And here comes your new Fire Emblem, and here comes a new Metroid game. Then I think you're going to have some of the happiest Nintendo fans you've had in a long, long time. So just very objectively, that'd be super smart. Boy, I wonder if they'll be able to do that. That would have to mean, in my opinion, for that to happen, 3DS development would have had to be really scaled back by now. And maybe it is already. Maybe internally they've already scaled back a ton. And we just haven't seen it. In the marketplace, I still feel like 3DS stuff's going full bore. But maybe they are pulling back internally on what they're developing. So we shall see. Cool. Derek, what's your second prediction?
All right, so this is one that I'd already written down, but it kind of goes along with Corey's a little bit, but it's definitely different. As I've said on this show numerous times, that I felt like when Microsoft and Warner Brothers announced that they were partnering Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War with the Scorpio, then I felt like that game had to release when the Scorpio released. But it already had a date of August 22nd, which is kind of early. It has now been delayed for, to me, obvious reasons. It is going to be a launch game for the Scorpio, which means the Scorpio is coming out in October with Shadow of War and Crackdown 3.
All right, cool. I think you cut out for some of that for me at least. Maybe you typed it in the notes so I make sure I have it.
Okay.
Because
right.
you cut out for some of that there. But I heard the gist of it. All right, cool. Good one. So now that you got a Sony one and a Scorpio one. Corey's got a Microsoft one and a Nintendo one. Matt, Matt has a negative prediction. What's your second one?
My second one is Sony centric. I think there's going to be the return of that indie focus that they sort of missed out on E3 last year. Like, I feel like we will get announcements for games like Chasm and Cosmic Star Heroine already came out. Death's Gambit and games like that. I don't know I don't remember the development teams at this time, but I feel like there's going to be one section of their conference where they just say, "Hey, indies."
Okay.
And those two in particular have been sort of setting the PlayStation community or indie community, for lack of a better term, a bit of Twitter of late. So I think
what was it? You said Chasm, and what was the other one that you were waiting
Death's
on?
Gambit.
Okay. Cool. Because
on
a return
top of that,
to an
also,
indie focus is a little broad, but having those two as specifics is good.
On top of that, they will also nail down whatever Housemarque is going to release next.
Oh, all right. You mean they'll actually tell us about it?
Yep. Rather than just show us a weird CGI thing for Matterfall, they will just say, "Here's what we're publishing next."
Very cool. All right.
Was that a naked Eli I just saw?
Topless Tuesday on a Friday with Eli.
As long as it was just topless, because we've had a worse situation.
Eli, are you wearing
Everybody
pants?
Wang Chung tonight.
You wearing pants, boy? Yeah, you can turn on the Xbox. Turn the volume down, though.
All right. So let's see, for my second one. So I went Microsoft for my first one. I think I'm going to go Nintendo here. And this isn't too difficult of one, but I'll be as specific as I can. I think Nintendo will announce 2 new Joy-Con colors that will release this summer. And I think it's going to be green and purple. Those are my predictions. Like that neon green and a neon purple will be the next.
Are they going to be tied to anything, though?
Splatoon.
I was thinking that through, and I was like, those kind of like, I guess the green would be like a Yoshi, possibly. The purple would be Wario, I suppose.
I don't know. Corey just said Splatoon, and that sounds about right. Splatoon's very like.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Splatoon
colors.
2 makes the most sense. There you go.
All right.
They did show off that cool Pro controller with the green and purple handles for Splatoon and the black splats all over it.
Nice.
I haven't even
Looks
seen
really
that.
cool, but it's Japan. It's Japan only right now.
Okay. Yeah, so I think. Oh, what's up, buddy?
Good man.
What's
Good
up, Eli?
man.
Chunk in the funk. I love that guy.
No, he is confident. That's all you need.
No shame in his game, man.
No, I love it. I love it. So green and purple. Okay. All right, Corey. Let's get to your third and final E3 prediction.
Oh boy. Okay, third and final. Okay. This goes. I don't want to hit on this again. I was gonna go PlayStation and From Software again, but I think I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I think Bethesda is going to announce a New Vegas style Fallout game promoted for Xbox One, but not internally developed. They're going to outsource this one, kind of like they did with New Vegas. I don't think it's going to be Obsidian either, because I think they're doing a lot right now.
Yeah.
But I feel that, Fallout 4 and then Skyrim remaster, and now I think it's time for another Fallout.
Okay.
Just based on that schedule.
Do you think it's going to be tied to 4 in this, just in a new location?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where.
Kind of like an
they
expansion.
could do it. No, I don't think it's going to be
Can't be
expansion. I think
It'll be
it's just gonna
standalone
new
like New
game.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my prediction.
All right, cool. Good one. All right, Derek, what about your final prediction? You've predicted that Sony's going to announce Bloodborne 2 for March 2018. You predicted that Scorpio is going to launch in October with Shadow of War and Crackdown 3. What's your third?
My prediction was Cyberpunk 2077 will be at E3, and it will be coming fall of 2018.
Okay.
That will make it 3 years since The Witcher, right?
It would be 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Because I know The Witcher came out. That was a 2015 game, right?
Yeah, and they were already working on Cyberpunk before.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause
Derek,
they
are
have
you saying that they're
multiple
going to fully reveal this game, or they can actually show it in action, or do you think it'll be more of a
You're
just
gonna
here's
see
the release date?
gameplay.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's gonna be. You're gonna see gameplay. Yeah.
Okay. Releases in fall of 2018, right?
Yeah.
That
Okay,
game looks
cool.
awesome. Or
Yeah.
at least the trailer.
Yeah,
they showed
I'm
was
excited.
awesome.
I mean, obviously, I love CD Projekt Red, so I'm looking forward to that too. All right, Mr. Matthew, let's hear your final prediction. You've been a
My
Sony
final
pony so
prediction
far.
is probably the longest shot
Okay.
of all of them. I actually think Nintendo will go a ways to address the sales of the Switch versus the sales of the Wii U and talk about Wii U titles on the Switch.
Okay.
So they'll talk about sales and then they'll announce some.
No, they won't. No, and addressing the sales is metaphoric.
Okay.
Like they're not going to be like, well, let's talk about how we're selling.
I was gonna
versus
say
how
that doesn't
the
sound like new Nintendo.
like,
Okay, I got you.
No, they'll say like, we realize that a lot. Well, they'll make a gesture that brings Wii U titles to the Switch, probably in a downloadable capacity, a virtual console, if you will.
All right, so they will announce a series
But I don't.
of Wii U
I
titles.
actually do not think they will call it. They will call their downloadable service virtual console. I think they'll just call it digital games.
I think you're right. Okay, can you give me like one or two specifics of what games you think will lead that off?
I think instead of making a new Mario Maker for Switch, they will just bring Mario Maker to the Switch.
Like a deluxe,
That's
kind
probably
of like Mario Kart.
Nope. It'll just be downloadable, and it'll be portable, like the Switch is, which automatically outclasses that BS 3DS version.
Yeah. Which we have, by the way. My family has that, and it's okay, but it's not amazing.
And then I think they might mention Bayonetta 2 in that conversation, just because that was another big one outside of Nintendo proper. And then they might talk about
Xenoblade Chronicle X.
I think Xenoblade Chronicle X would be a good one for core gamers as well. But I also think they'll throw in their own properties like Pikmin. Since they're kind of doing well with Platinum right now, at least in terms of Bayonetta, they might throw Wonderful 101 in that and Tokyo Mirage Sessions F. But the Tokyo Mirage Sessions is even further shot than everything else in that prediction.
Or as I call it, Tokyo Massage Sessions.
That's the one I want the most. Tokyo Mirage.
All right, cool. Very good. All right, so for my final prediction here, so you guys didn't really steal many of mine, so I'm going to see if I can make a single pick. All right, I had a few about game release dates with Sony, but I think I'm going to follow in Matt's footsteps and make a negative prediction here. I think, just like you said, Bloodborne 2 won't be mentioned at all. I think the PlayStation VR will be completely left out of E3, their press conference this year. I don't think Sony will talk about anything VR related in their presser this year. So there you go. There's my third one.
That was a deep cut there, Tim.
And then you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do VR Wonderbook, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
VR Wonderbook.
A 30-minute VR Wonderbook presentation.
Be great. They're gonna have Mr. Caffeine come out and do it. It'll be awesome.
Well, the reason I think there's part of me that's like, no, that's crazy. They'll talk about it because it's a device that came out less than a year ago. So I think realistically something will be said about it. My prediction is that they won't even talk about it at all. I don't think it'll be mentioned at all. I had other ones about, game releases, things like God of War, Ratchet & Clank 2, some other ideas that I had here and there. But, yeah, I just think, or even a PS4 Pro price drop, but I just think VR is the one that's most likely to happen.
See, I think, and I had it as one of my predictions, I just didn't say it. I think it's going to be Microsoft who talks about VR when they start talking about Scorpio, and I think they're going to talk about how VR is coming in 2018 for the Scorpio, and they're going to work with, Oculus. So I think that's going to be, yeah. I think that'll be the company that talks VR.
All right, cool. All right, well, there you go. There's our predictions. I've written them down on some notes here, so we'll be able to revisit them after E3 and see how we did. Specifically, Derek and I will mock each other, but we'll also give Corey and Matt some shout-outs too there as well, of course, because they made predictions. Yep. So that does it for us for episode 74. Matt and Corey, thank you so much for joining us this week. Derek, make sure you thank Eli for the show.
Will do.
I'm going to send him a 1 in the mail. What's your address, Derek?
Yeah. And so Corey and Matt, remind us real quick one more time, where can people find NGR Radio?
You can find NGR Radio on all major podcast services, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. You can find the video version on our YouTube page at NGR Radio, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/group/NGR Radio Podcast. Twitter, if you want to follow us there, NGR Radio Podcast, and on our website at ngrradio.com.
Sweet. Awesome. If you guys, anything else you want to plug before we close it out?
Matt?
I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at infinite_rewind. I'm posting a lot about beer and vinyl. Those are my 2 biggest passions outside of video games. Other than that, I got not much to say. So,
sweet. Cool. Derek, anything? You on Instagram as well? Posting pictures of your kids as they run around topless?
Of course.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, Derek he's on Instagram at Topless Tuesday Teague.
Topless Tuesday Teague, TGT.
Topless Tuesdays every Fridays.
Every Friday.
Yep,
yeah.
and we're recording on
a
Saturday, so it's even weirder.
I know. It's all very confusing. All right, cool. Thank you guys again. We'll talk to you later.
Who is your daddy? I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?